Let's go to Dean from Dallas, Texas. Dean, you're on the air. Save us, please, Dean.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hi, first time caller, long time listener. I wanted to ask, do you think with the ongoing pandemic having a massive impact, mostly on the elderly when it comes to fatalities, that there will be a significant extension to Social Security, seeing as how, more and more people are buying in and, they won't be able to cash out?
I'm not sure I know what you're talking about. Will Social Security be extended? What do you mean?
Yeah, like the estimations for when Social Security runs out of money.
Oh, I see. Oh, so are you saying is the money going to last longer, or are people going to
Right,
have to wait longer before they can start getting Social Security?
right. Is the money gonna last longer for because it's projected that people like me on the younger side won't be able to even collect because it'll long run out of money by then.
Listen, those predictions are heavily disputed, so I wouldn't even necessarily start with that as the expectation of where we are. That there are many serious analyses done of the Social Security Trust Fund, which say it's not going to run out. There may need to be a period during which people pay in a little more, or during which they might get out a little less, or have to wait an extra year or something. But the it's going to all run out hypotheses, my understanding is, have been pretty widely debunked. In terms of the effect of COVID on that, I don't know the answer to that. It's a very good question, but I think it's something that it's got to be studied by experts in that field, and I don't know that we're going to have all the data until we're really out of the pandemic.
Right, right. Well, thanks for taking my call. Appreciate
My
it.
pleasure. Appreciate the call. Yeah, that's a really interesting question. I wish I had an answer. I wish I had an answer, but I don't. Let's go next to Jack from Indianapolis, Indiana. Jack, you are on the air.
Hey David, how are you?
I'm doing well.
Yeah, I've just kind of been looking at the way things have been going in America right now,
Yeah.
and the thing about it is that it can get kind of depressing. And I think like, why do I follow this stuff so much if all I can do is vote? I mean, aside from that, I also do some music that is about these issues like police brutality and government corruption and stuff like that. But I was curious as to if you had any recommendations as far as like I think they call it civic engagement.
You're saying what
Like
can you do other than voting? Is that more or less what you're saying?
basically, yeah.
There are so many things. I mean, listen, first of all, with technology the way it is now, you can participate in essentially any race you want to by phone banking and fundraising remotely if that's what you're interested in doing. That's number one. Number two, really important to understand that you don't have to attach your activism to individuals. You might attach your activism, excuse me, to issues. There might be, regardless of who your senator is, at the local level where you live, you could figure out, oh, you know what? There's a conservation commission in my city or town. I'm going to get involved in that. Or if you care about literacy, most libraries and library systems have ways for you to get involved. I think the first thing is we've got to kind of disabuse ourselves of this notion that there aren't that many different ways that we can get involved. There's community radio and community television where you can get involved essentially at no cost, depending on where you live in most parts of the country. There's really so much, and so the first, it's almost like there's too much, and you've got to figure out: do I want to work locally or at the state level? Do I want to work by helping a candidate, or do I want to work on an issue? What do I care about most? Education, the environment, etc. There really is no shortage of ways to get involved.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. What exactly is phone banking? I've never
Phone
really heard
banking
that
is very
before.
simple. There's systems where, let's say, let's say it's John Fetterman versus Mehmet Oz in the Pennsylvania Senate race, and it's a few months from now, right? It's the 2022 election. Even if you don't live in Pennsylvania, you can sign up to Phone Bank, and basically you can sit at your computer and it'll pop up and it'll say, okay, here is a believed Democratic voter. Call them, ask them if they're planning to vote. Call and so you can, it's basically all done through software at this point. And no matter where you are, you can start making phone calls for any candidate you want. Most candidates, assuming that they're set up with these phone banking systems.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, really easy.
Yeah, I think that's about it. Thanks for having me on.
My pleasure.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Engagement. So many ways to get involved. There's really no shortage. No shortage. It's almost an embarrassment of riches, quite frankly. Let's go next to, I believe, is it pronounced Vedant from, is it Winnipeg? I'm not even sure.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
How are you doing, Mr. Pakman?
I'm doing well.
Yeah, so Winnipeg, we're just in Manitoba, Canada.
Love it.
Yeah, so my question was about how do you choose what to cover? Because I'll preface this with I listen to a lot of like the new media landscape, a lot of breaking points with Crystal and Sagar, Kyle Kalinske, TYT, stuff like that, as well
Sure.
as yourself. And I find that like for example, TYT will focus a lot on like donations from big like companies into politicians and how that runs the political landscape.
Uh-huh.
I've noticed like you tend to focus a little more on like January 6th stuff like that. And I was wondering what makes you find that that's the most important thing that you want to cover.
It's not, this is a beautiful question. Vedant, how old a guy are you, by the way?
I am 15.
Okay, I had a feeling you were a younger guy. Listen, you are asking really high level questions here. Okay, I think you have upper management written all over you, as we like to say in the United States.
Thank you so much.
Here's the bottom line. I don't have any secret algorithm or anything about what I'm going to cover. I get to cover 8 stories a day, more or less. And basically what I think about is, what do I feel like talking about today? Where do I have something to add on a story?
Okay.
What might my audience be interested in hearing about? And is it time sensitive and newsworthy? And if so, I just kind of say, here's the 8 things I want to talk about today. I have all these different possibilities, and I'm looking at, I have a list of journalists I follow on Twitter, and I'm all sorts of newsletters. And it's basically just, what do I want to share with my audience today? That's really it. The reason for me talking about January 6th significantly, because you mentioned that, is the right is trying to rewrite history on what happened there. I think it's an incredibly important sort of before and after event that has kind of changed the direction of what we thought the right was willing to do, or maybe thought they were not willing to do. And I want to do everything I can to remind people that really wasn't normal. We still haven't gotten a full understanding of everything that happened on that day. So that's why, like, in the last 10 days or so, I've been talking about it a lot, to answer that specifically.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. And then this one's just a little more of a fun one. But
Sure.
like I was wondering, like, what do you think about Canada? Have you been up here? If so, like what places do you visit?
I love Canada. I have to say, the overwhelming majority of my experience is in Montreal. I've been to Montreal probably 20 times in my life. I grew up going there, and I've been so many times. I love it. I've been to Toronto. It had less charm, but a beautifully organized, kind of less European city, if that makes sense. It's a different story. I've also been to Ottawa once. I don't want to insult Ottawa, but I remember very little about it. It did not inspire me in any real way. And I've never been to Quebec City, but I would like to go as soon as it's reasonable and safe. But I love Canada, and in particular, I love France, and so going to Quebec, I just enjoy it significantly.
I'm sure. I'm
Yeah.
sure. I went for the first time this summer just to move
Wow.
my brother into college, and that was really nice.
Oh, okay. What, McGill?
McGill, yeah.
McGill's great. McGill's great. That's fantastic. Well, listen, is the correct pronunciation Vedant?
It's Vedant.
Vedant. And what are the origins of that name?
So it means eternal knowledge in Sanskrit. So my family's originally from Tamil Nadu, which is the southernmost province of India.
Amazing. Amazing. Well, listen, I appreciate the call, my friend.
Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day.
All right, you too. Wow, what a polite young man, folks. What a polite young man. That is really something else.